People in here, so welcome everybody. Little bit of admin first. Just remember that when the presenter is presenting, please make sure that you're on mute. It is interactive and there are a lot of people in here. It's on multiple screens, so if you do have a question, don't just raise your hand because can't always see your hand. If you wish to ask a question while the presentation is going on, by all means, send me a message in chat. If you think it's current or relevant, by all means, you can interrupt Matthew. We do like an interactive program, but make sure it's relevant, not off on a tangent somewhere. As always, Mark Hart is acting as our co-host. He's going to be recording and watching the waiting room. I'll be able to do a little bit about this. And I'd like to introduce our featured presenter for today, which is Matthew Mills. I believe you're still in Bundaberg, aren't you, Matthew?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Matthew's been calling for just over 20 years now. You're getting old, Matthew. Calls for the Cane Country Squares on Fridays, dances mainstream through A1. I think you're doing about 3 or 4 nights a week.
Yeah,
He's
3.
one of the regular guests in demand at pretty much any caller training sessions. Excellent caller training, excellent presenter, and Matthew's going to be talking to us about formation, awareness, management, getting normal as a bit of a segue to what he is really presenting, which is what we've had over 40 requests for, which he will be coming back in 2 weeks to talk about. So this is kind of a segue and basic foundation skills, and I'm not going to give any more away. All yours, Matthew.
Thanks, Mel. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well, depending which part of the world you're in. I certainly know we're in some strange times these days, but as long as everyone's keeping healthy and happy, that's the main thing, and safe, most of all. Like Mel said, I've certainly been around calling for a while, 20 years actually this year. And I was one of those children. I think we were talking about children before in the square dancing, but I unfortunately started at the age of 5. John Casey and a couple of the other Australians here have seen me grow up through the square dance world. Met my beautiful wife in square dancing, got 2 beautiful kids and their square dance children, aged 3 and 7. So my 7-year-old started dancing this year until COVID happened. So that was a bit of a shame. But the good news is she said to me this morning, knowing I was doing this presentation, she said, "Daddy, when can I start back dancing again? I want to start." So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty exciting. All right, we're going to start talking about the choreo stuff. All right, now don't panic. Like Mel said, yeah, you know, let him know if you've got any questions or yell out if it's certainly relevant to what we got here. I've certainly tried to structure it to cater for, you know, callers of all different experience and knowledge. Okay, so just bear with me, and we'll work our way through. All right. Better share my screen. All right, now here's our topic for the day, or the morning, should I say. Oops, it's better. What will we achieve today? There's 2 things. Now, like Mel said, this is a prelude to something bigger. Which is our simple asymmetric resolutions, but it's good grounding and building tools for our callers, okay, especially our newer callers. If you're unaware about normalization tools and how you can use them, you're certainly gonna love this, and for our other callers who have been calling longer, it's a good refresher just to remember what these tools are and how they can help you, okay. And just very, very simple pairing of couples, okay? I know Mel covered some resolution stuff in the last few weeks, but it's also good for just simple pairing, because we're certainly going to need a bit of that when it comes to the next topic in 2 weeks' time. All right, question I'm posing to everybody. How often do we find ourselves in a formation or arrangement where we are struggling to get back to a normal arrangement? And when I use the word normal arrangement, I'm going to use the I'm going to use the arrangement boy-girl. Okay, that's the idea of it. So boys on the left, girls on the right, normal couples. Okay, what are normalization tools? Normalization tools involve a set of movements that can allow you to get your dancers back to normal arrangements and formations. Okay, so again, like I said there, normal boy-girl couples. All right, I've posted up some of the movements, the common movements that are part of your normalization tool set. Folds, runs, U-turns, star through, California 12, hinge, and circulates. Okay, remember there's quite a few different circulates, so remember the circulate family. All right, let's have a look at this one. All right, now I want everyone to have a look of this formation, this arrangement. So we know it's lines, but if you have a look, we've got our boys in the middle and we got our girls on the outside. So my question to you, and I'm going to give you 30 seconds, how would you get to a normal arrangement, okay, where we got boy-girl couples? Okay, now I don't care the formation, it could be lines, it could be two-faced lines, I don't mind. You choose what works for you. Just write something down now to say, how would you do that? And I wanted to cover this before we look at what are the steps we could do. What would you have done?
Hey, Matt, your men aren't all on the outside. I mean, or number one's odd from the other ones.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I must have taken from my asymmetric one and I forgot to triple check. Just imagine the boy number 3 is swapped with the girl number 3 if you can. Just swap them over. Thank you for that. I'll have to fix it up before I send it to Mel. Okay, we're going to move on now. Okay, so there's the better image. I better copy that after. So let's have a look at that formation. I think I got it right. You can see we definitely got our lines. Okay, basically our head couples are half sashayed is the easiest way to get to it from normal partner lines. Let's just get the dancers to pass through. So get our dancers to pass through. We've not done anything. We've not changed the arrangement. But what's the next thing? Let's start using one of those tools that we've got. Let's try the girls fold. And if you notice, the girls who were on the outside come and fold in front of the men. And then from there, we could do a star through. Bob's your uncle. We have normal couples. Very, very simply. Okay. And that's what we want to achieve with our normalization, is about how do we take those very challenging arrangements and use those movements to get to those normal arrangements, so you guys can, whether it's resolve or just get dancers comfortable again. That's one of the big things. Okay, so if I go back, just remind, if we have a look, so we got our lines with our boys in the middle, the girls are on the outside. We get everybody to pass through, so they're all looking out, and then we get our girls to fold in front of the men, star through, and that resolves that type of situation. What about other formations? There's plenty of them out there, let's be honest. We can get ourselves into a tangle as callers, can't we? There's always a simple get out. Okay, boys run is a good one, and especially from this picture here. While it is one of our normalization tools, what if we look at another movement? Let's take that next step and say, okay, I don't want to do it simply. Let's use another tool. Let's use another movement. What can we come up with? Well, let's try out hinge, because hinge is pretty cool. Okay, so if we have a look at the first picture on the left, you'll see that formation where we got our waves. We have our boys looking out. We have all our girls looking in. Okay, yes, boys run, we got partner lines, it's normal. But if we did a hinge, see the picture on the right, it's changed our arrangement into, I guess some of us will say, well, that's normal arrangement, you know, normal waves. That's true, absolutely. It can be. But for our newer callers in particular, hinge is a great little tool from changing from those complex arrangements in a wave to sometimes getting to a more normal arrangement in a wave. Okay, so it's a great little option there. Obviously, you could follow that up with a swing through, a boys run, and you got normal couples. Okay, so for our new callers, I hope you can picture that one. What about columns? Columns, very, very interesting one. So let's take that original line that we used right at the start, where we got our boys are in the middle, our girls are on the outside. Okay, everyone touch a quarter, we got that fancy looking column there with all our boys in the middle, the girls are on the outside. Another one of our tools that we got in that toolbox was a little movement called circulate. So let's have a look what that looks like. Circulate moves it along. So all the boys move up, all the dancers move up one spot, someone goes around the corner, and then of course boys run and everything is back to normal. Okay, nice and simple. And we've achieved that goal of boy-girl couples very, very easily. All right, so let's have a quick recap of what we've just had a look at. So we've got our lines where we had a boy and a girl in each couple, and it doesn't matter where they are in the couple, you know. This will work and cater for all that. Pass through, girls fold, star through, bend the line, or if you don't want to do a bend the line, you can do something else, you know, couple circulate, bend the line, couple circulate, Ferris wheel. It doesn't matter. They're already in normal couples. Waves with a boy and girl in each basically mini wave. You know, centers run, bend the line, pass through, boy, girl, fold, star through, bend the line. And then your columns. Let's do circulate until a boy and a girl meet side by side and then get a boy to run. Okay. So with that in mind, we might hold it there for a second. So I'm just going to stop sharing. And if everyone can, with their Zoom, look for Matt's mobile on there if you can. And you'll see hopefully my mobile phone is still active and you will see a square of dancers on my desk. Can everybody see that? Beautiful. So I've tried to, because as much as computer animations are kind of cool, I like to also push my dolls around and, you know, experiment a bit. So I thought, why not practice that? Okay, so let's have a look at what we were talking about before. Let's actually get our we might quickly get into our lines. Okay, and I'm just going to watch the screen to make sure it lines up for everybody. And if you remember what I said before, it doesn't matter when it comes to, if we just pay attention, it doesn't matter which side the boys or girls on. Let's just get everyone half sachet for the sake of something different. Okay, we get everybody to pass through. All right, and remember what the little folding module was, just simple as girls fold, star through, and we have achieved very, very quickly our getting to normal couples without even having to work hard for it. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt just 1 second. I see a lot of people squinting at the little tiny picture of your thing. Janet just posted in the chat, if you find Matthew's phone, the video, and you just put your cursor on it, there's 3 dots on the right-hand side next to mute. If you click those 3 dots and you select pin the video, it becomes large so you can follow it on his screen. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Mel.
Good one,
Thank
Mel.
you. Thank you for whoever made that. That was fantastic. So let's change it up a bit. So let's put all our girls in the middle and our boys on the outside. Okay. So again, pass through, girls fold. We can actually do boys fold. We don't need just to have the girls do the fold all the time. The goal is just to get a gender to fold. Okay. And that way, because the symmetry matches it all up, it works out beautifully. Star through. Please don't call bend the line from here. Or you could. And as you can see, we got our normal couples again. All right, which gives us our normal arrangement, which was what we were looking for. Okay. Folding could also be used in waves. It's not a common one, but it's certainly possible. We can have a look at that one after on what we could potentially do with that, because there's something else I wanted to cover before we have a look at that one. Our columns, if we have a look at that one again, using our live dancers, I'm just making sure it stays in the middle of the screen for everybody. So we've got our boys in the middle, but how about we put the girls in the middle? Let's be daring. Let's change it. Okay, touch a quarter. I feel like a daring person this morning. We got all our girls together in the middle. We got our boys on the outside. If we get them all to circulate, up the train we go. And as you can see, they've all met somebody. The great thing about circulate is you can actually keep going with it. If you're not aware of that, you can actually keep going around, and you could get them to circulate another 2 times if you want. They're going to match up with someone of the opposite sex at some stage. So let's do a circulate once, and you'll notice as everybody goes up, oh, we're back to now we got boys in the middle. Well, don't stress. Let's do another circulate. And guess what? We've got a boy beside a girl. How do boys run? We've just got our normal couples again, and you're free to work and be creative now. You know, dancers are back to normal. You're less stressed because, you know, you've been able to easily get into boy-girl couples again. Okay, so that's the great things about those tools. If we look at that hinge was quite an interesting one. So I'm just going to quickly make my square, and I know this is confusing there online, but on my screen the head couple is number 1 is, well, I'm looking at that, but on yours it's rotated a bit. If we have a look at what I said before about that hinge, it's quite an interesting little movement. So if we make a wave, and actually what I want to do is then do this. You'll see we got one gender looking out. So we got the girls looking out, and we got the boys who are looking in. Okay. And hinges is a really cool movement because it actually can definitely change your arrangements in your waves, and certainly something to write down and have there in your little kit. But when you got arrangements like this, that little hinge can quickly change it. So we've got a bit more of a normal wave. Okay, so you can see we've got all our boys looking in, all our girls are looking out. Both waves are identical because of symmetry. That's the way it's going to work. We're not doing anything unusual. Call a hinge, and you notice we got all the boys are in the middle, which is great. And I don't know what just happened there, but somehow my laptop played up and was sharing. We'll do the same on this side. But if we do a hinge again, you'll notice, hey, we changed that arrangement again. We've gone back to a similar arrangement to what we had before, with the boys looking out and the girls are looking in. Okay, where previously it was the girls looking out and the boys were looking in. If we add a 4th hinge, you'll notice we've got our waves here. Our girls are in the middle, boys are on the outside. You know, spice it up a bit. Girls trade, swing through, boys run, bend a line, normal couples. Okay. So that's certainly something you want to hang on to. All right. Now, go back to, I hope that made a bit of sense there, folks. So I'm just going to go back to, I'm going to share my PowerPoint now. Someone just posted in the comments about how to unpin the video, just in case you're not aware. Thank you to that lovely person. All right, so that explains those little modules, and I hope the physical, having a look at it with your little checkers or your little tabletop dancers helps just to reinforce that. All right, but there's other little times where you might have, and I want to look at those little things called helper words. There's other times in your calling where you may not be able to call a boys run or use those gender words, or you need those fancy words because it's going to get more challenging. All right, and that's where you need to remember those other stuff like centers, ends, out faces, those looking in, those looking out. Really, really useful words in tough situations. Okay, they can also change a hell of a lot in your calling when you use them, but also they can help you, like I said, with getting to your normal arrangements. All right, so let's try one out with our centers run. So you'll notice in this little setup that I got here, we got our waves with our two boys together on one side and two girls together. Okay. Well, we can't call a boys run, or you could, but I don't think we should in this situation. So let's do centers run. Notice what happens. That's all right. We got two boys together in a couple, two girls together in a couple. That's okay. Let's not panic. The objective is we want to get to normal couples. So let's throw something else in. What are we going to throw in? Couples circulate, bend the line. We're almost there. Something easy. Star through to finish off. No, you got your boy-girl couples, and then you can start progressing with whatever your next part of the plan is. Okay. So let's just go back and have a quick look at that one again. So that was our waves with our boys on one side, girls on the other side. Centers run, couples circulate, bend the line, star through. All easy movements, all in that basic program. That means you can call it so much and so easily. Here we go. What about 3x1 lines? Wow. Some of us, I would be fair to say, quite a few of us must use 3x1 lines at some stage, and some of us are very concerned or never called it before. Maybe our newer callers sit in that category. That's okay. Let's not stress. We've got a pile of tools now, a pile of movements that we can use to help us get out of those type of situations. And as John Casey alluded earlier at the start of the session, sometimes terminations may not be able to assist you if that's one of your common programs with choreo, to be able to get out of some of these situations. So that's why I've got my checkers on my desk, so we can go through this one and other little 3x1 situations, just so you can see. Okay, so you'll notice we got all the boys are on the outside, and technically, our boys could circulate around the outside if they want. But our girls are in the middle and they're all looking out. Okay, so why not? Let's try some of our tools that we've got previously that we've spoken about, some of our movements.
And
so
Mike, what's the 3x1 part of that? I don't understand the 3x1 part.
Yep, that's all right. Thank you for asking. So if you look at the first pick on the left there, you'll see the three dancers are all looking out the same way. And then you'll see the fourth dancer is looking in. That's why we call it 3x1, because when you got, if you go, actually, I'm just going to stop sharing and let's go to my phone. Everybody find Matt's mobile and pin that. Let's have a look at that. Great question. Great question. Okay. Matt's going to get himself into a bit of trouble with these checkers, but that's what they're there for. All right. Before we do that, actually, I might turn that around. Okay, let's pair everybody up normal. So from what you see, it all looks happy and lovely. All right. This is what we call our normal two-face line, because you've got that couple looking this way, this couple looking that way. Okay, they're matched up together. Obviously, we know what a line looking in looks like, and of course, if we got those guys to all turn around, we have our line looking out. Okay, oops, they're not quite right. If you got my idea there. 3x1 line is where we got three people looking one way and one person is looking the opposite way. So let's quickly change that up. Let's just get that person to do a U-turn back there, and you notice 1, 2, 3, they're all looking out. This person is looking in. Okay, but we could do something else. We could change it. We could do that. We got 1, 2, 3 looking out, but this person looking in. Okay, it doesn't matter where that person is. You know, we got three people looking one way, one person looking the other way. Okay, does that answer your question, John?
Yeah, sure. I was looking, I think I was looking for 3 girls on one side or 3 guys on the other side, but yeah, I can see your 3 and 1.
Yep, okay. Yeah, we're working up to that. Maybe in 2 weeks we'll look at that 3 boys on one, 3 girls on the other, maybe. Okay, all right, I'll just go back to my presentation, but we don't need to be worried in this situation. We've got our building blocks already. We've got our foundation tools already established of what they are that we can work with. So let's start off. I'm assuming everyone here would have their own interesting little way of getting out. Well, there might be some who do, and there might be some that don't. So let's have a look at what could we do with the tools that we got. So let's start off with the centers run. Okay, so you notice from my picture on the left to the picture on the right, we got the centers to run, and that means the ends are going to slide together. So they got a box in the middle. All the boys are in the middle, they got a box, and all the girls are looking in. All right, let's try one of an additional movement that we just spoke about, you know, using those additional helper movements. How about we do something creative? How about we get the boy that's looking out to run around the boy that's looking in? All right, let me go back one. You will notice, if we have a look, you'll see the number 4 man is looking out, the number 1 man is looking in, the number 2 man is looking out, the number 3 man is looking in. Let's just focus on the number 1 man and the 4 man, because they're side by side and that's easier to remember. So as we get the boy looking out to run around the boy looking in, the number 1 man's going to slide over, the number 4 man will go around him. Okay. As I do that, you've got now lines with all the dancers are looking in. Absolutely. And this sounds like a situation we've already been in. I think we've spoken about this situation at the start. So to easily get ourselves out of this pretty quickly, get everyone to pass through. Let's just have the girls fold, star through. You've got your normal couples, and you didn't have to break a sweat. Okay. Does that make a bit of sense to everybody? Yeah. Yeah, good. Okay. I know with the 3 and 1, actually, let's go back one. I know with the 3 and 1 that there's multiple. I'm gonna share. Let's have a look at my phone again. And I know there's multiple different setups, like I said, for 3 and 1, and we can have a bit of a tinker with that. So you'll notice here, if we just focus that's a setup that we've currently got. But like I said, there's other options you can do. So just say we had something like that. That could be a bit challenging, couldn't it? Think about those movements that we spoke about earlier, all the you know, the hinges and runs, folds, all and the helper words that we've got at our disposal. So let's have a tinker. I'm just going to remove this half of the square. Let's have a bit of a tinker with that, folks, and see what we can come up with. So, and don't forget those helper words, like those who are looking in, those looking out. You know, we've got a lot at our disposal there. So let's be creative. Let's try boys fold. I don't know. That sounds good to me. Let's give that a go. Okay. Looks a bit interesting. We just had someone post and say, can we do a boy looking out run? You could. Yep. Few different options. Those who can, star through. Okay. Though if you're looking out California 12, interesting. Those who can't, face in. Everyone pass through, boys fold, star through, and we got normal couples again. Okay. What else could we come up with? So what did we say? I think we had that one looking out, that one looking in. So what was it? Could we? What else? What was it? The boys run. Someone in the comments said the boys run. Could we do that? Well, if you had the boys run, it would look like that. Quite interesting. I still would be tempted to use a fold myself personally, because that sometimes a bit easier. Star through, the others face in, those looking out California twirl, pass through, whatever, you know, boys fold this time if you wanted. So you've got plenty of options now at your fingertips, okay? And that's what the best thing is about those little movements. All right, let me go back to let's go back here. So in summary to what we got there, team, you know, it doesn't matter the arrangement or the formation. To get to a normalized arrangement, it's not too far away, okay? The main thing is to not panic and to remember these movements that we spoke about as they're part of your toolbox, all right? So the goal of the first part was we wanted you to have a look at your tools, and you know, with those hinges, folds, runs, circulates, they're all at your fingertips to help you get to, you know, like I said, a boy-girl arrangement of some description, whether it's lines or couples, just so you can progress on. So that was the first step, and that's what we've accomplished so far. Okay. Like Mel said, it's a bit of a precursor to something in 2 weeks' time, because normalized tools definitely can is a good part of any asymmetric resolution. So it's something, if you're not aware of, it gives you, you know, a few days or a couple of weeks to sit down and have a tinker, but also look at how it could spice up your choreography as well. You'll be very surprised if you're not already using them, or you didn't know that that's what they could do. Yeah, you could certainly do a lot with them. Okay. The next part we want to have a look at is now breaking out a bit more to pairing up our couples very, very simply, because in 2 weeks' time, when we go to do a little bit more work, we need to be able to pair up couples. That's a big thing. Okay, and that's why the normalization is a good thing. But for those who may struggle a bit with pairing up people, let's have a look at that in a second. For someone that's looking for a challenge, here's a great little formation. If you want to have a tinker with some normalizing, have a look at this little formation. Here's a little challenge for you. So this is what we call an hourglass formation. in the advanced program. And I know we'll probably have some callers online that says, but I might not call advanced, but that's okay. But have a look at this one. How could you use those tools to get out of that?
Have the centers flip the diamond and everybody flip the diamond.
That must be a plus, caller.
Have the centers hinge, bend the line, and centers pass through.
Love the thinking. Absolutely love it.
Have the centers hinge and the center line half tag.
At the centers hinge, others face in. Centers wheel and deal and pass through.
We're getting very, very creative. Love this. For some of our newer callers, if you're just with all the centers hinge, so let's focus just in the middle here. So the moment they hinge, you notice we have a two-face line in the middle for our newer callers. Hang on, let me stop sharing that. Go to Matt's mobile. I know everyone's got it very, very close by. So for our newer callers who may not be able to picture that, if we just have a look at the center bit here, this is a diamond in the middle. And if we get those center two girls to hinge, you'll notice we got a two-face line, is what they were saying before. So plenty of options. I think it was Darren, if I heard rightly, who said the others face in the middle, wheel and deal. You know, you can be creative from that.
If you wanted to make that, Matt, if you wanted to make that normal before you did this, the outsides face in, you can get the outsides to circulate one spot around the outside, then face in. Then you've got a normalized couple on the outside.
Yep, let's put Darren's idea to the test. So we get the guys around the outside, circulate one spot, face in, those in the middle, wheel and deal. Like Darren said, boy, girls, all the way up, you know. But if we didn't do that, that's okay. If just reading in the comments. Okay. I had someone say, how did I get there in the first place? Cool. I might want to go back a step and just address that very, very quickly. So trying to, what would be the best way for? Well, I can tell you the advanced movements I use to get there, but that may not be the best thing to do that. I would have said, let's not worry about the order I got them in, just to get to the formation. So this is a left-handed wave, but let's go to a right-hander. It doesn't matter, and I'm just going to pair them up so they're all they're all normal, just so you understand the concept. Oops, no, we want him. Okay, cool. What we can do is we can, so to get to answer the question for how do we get to that formation in the first place, waves is probably an easy one, or two-face lines. We might do the two-face lines one. That might be okay. We get the centers to hinge, because therefore the outside's already set up, and we just want the centers to make that diamond. So how would we make a diamond? You keep body flow. We get the centers to trade, centers to run, and then new centers to hinge, and therefore you end up with your hourglass. Okay, so I hope that answers the question for our newbies on how to get to that hourglass to start with. So the second thing what we were doing is a lot of people said, you know, we could do a hinge. If we did a bend the line, we end up in a 3x1 line. That's not a scary thing because we've had a look at that, haven't we? We've seen some of the options about how to work with that, haven't we? So we know how to. We've got plenty of options. We could say the girls to run if we wanted, just for fun. Okay, the boys are in the middle. We could say the boy looking out, run around the boy looking in. Everybody pass through. We get to the other side. Matt's going to cheat so I can get there quicker. Oops, that person should be looking out. They were playing up, I think. And away you go. You know, do your folding, do what you got to do. Okay, plenty of options at your fingertips. So I circulate, half bend the line. Yeah, that's the one that Darren came up with. Cool. Well, that's a challenging little one. So if anyone wants to continue with that at another stage and have a tinker, hope that inspires a bit of interesting choreography. All right. Now, the second part that Mel wanted me to have a look at is let's talk about resolving or pairing is the thing we really want to talk about. You know, what methods should I use? For new callers in particular, this can be absolutely challenging and scary. You know, how do I get, you know, couples paired together so I can start looking at that resolution? And I know Mel chatted on resolution within the last couple of weeks, he said. So this is just about pairing couples together. That's all we want to focus on, not the resolution bit, just purely on the pairing component only. Okay, so let's have a look at that. All right, so like I said, pairing couples can be extremely easy or slightly harder depending on the choreography you are using and the relationship that you have of the dancers. So remember the relationship, boy, girl, boy, or whatever it is. Okay, so I've got two little pictures on the screen. You'll notice that we got corner box type choreography, which is the image up on the top, and partner line choreography down on the bottom. Okay, and you'll notice I've got a big red line through the middle, which is our magic line of symmetry. Okay, because we all know our magic line of symmetry, whatever happens on one side of the square is mirrored to the other side of the square. That's just a part of the DNA of our calling. Okay. All right. With the corner box, you'll always notice, as per the image up the top, that in each box of four, there will automatically be one couple paired somewhere. Okay. When I mean paired, they don't necessarily need to be side by side. It's just that their partner is somewhere in that box of four. And then the second one, you'll notice with partner line, it's either in one box of four, they will all have their partners, or they'll all not have their partners. Okay. And that's just relationships 101. That is right there. Okay. So let's look at the corner box style of pairing. So I've tried to come up with the most common pairings that you're going to see with your corner box, and of course we've got that magic red line of symmetry there, just so you can see it. And you can see there's four different scenarios. It's really going to look like quite a bit of the time. I'm sure there's a couple others we can squeeze in there if we get a couple to half sachet and stuff like that. So we could certainly make it a bit more creative, but just to keep it standard, I've come up with these ones here. So you'll see number one, we've got in the number one image, we've got a number four couple pair. Number two image, we've got number four couple with their partner opposite them. Number three image, again, the same thing, but number four couples on the end of the line. Where in image number two, number four couple is on the inside of the line there. And then, of course, you got image number four, which is number four couple on the opposite sideline. So that you can see there's definitely four options there. Okay. Couple of easy things we can do from here. So obviously image number 1 and 4 have already got their, they're coupled together. They're partnered side by side. So the goal was, how do we quickly partner someone up? Well, with image number 1 and 4, you don't need to. They're already there. Okay. Number 2 and 3. well, we got a couple of options there, but the easy, you know, we got a star through, or we got our ladies chain. Okay, so that's they're some of the easiest options that we can easily do. So to have a look at that. So let's stop sharing. We'll head off to mobile phone. Zero box. Let's just move this half of the square out the way because we know it's all mirrored up. You can see we've got our couple in front of us here. Okay, star through, they're partnered up. This side of the square would do the same thing, and then you could do whatever you want to do for resolution method after that. Okay, for our newer callers again, if the couple is on the outside of the line, just for those who want to visualize it, I'll just quickly add these guys on it. You'll see on the outside, star through, they're matched up. Life is easy, life is beautiful. So they're never too far away. All right, so we've covered that, just going back to the slide. Now we're gonna have a look at partner line. Partner line is quite an interesting little bit of choreography. And depending which part of the world you're in, can be certainly challenging. So again, I've come up with just the normal arrangement with the boy-girl. There's additional ones, but we don't want to look at that. We're just looking at the normal ones. Like I previously mentioned, you know, with your partner line, you'll either have two couples paired in each group of four or not. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Again, 4 images on the screen for you. So set up image number 1, setup number 1 already has their partner coupled beside them. Okay. Image number 2, you'll notice has their partner across the road. But that's all right. Let's not panic. We just need to get them to stand side by side with each other in a couple, star through, and we've solved that. Image number 3 and number 4. This is where it gets very, very challenging. And we're going to break out and have a look at those two in particular. So you'll notice in image number 3, everyone has no partners and they all have their opposites. They're partnered with their opposites. So you'll see number 1 man has a number 3 lady, that's his opposite. Number 4 man has number 2 lady, etc., etc. Okay. All right, and number 4, everyone has no partner and their opposites are in front of them. Okay, so think of it like image number 3, except we're just going to get the ladies to chain across. Okay, that's all that one is. So while image number 1 and 2 are easy, because number 1, they're already partnered up, which was the idea, paired up. Image number 2, you just got to do a star through and everything's already there. Let's have a look further into number 3 and 4, because the goal is we want to partner them up. So we're going to have a look at some easy modules here, just to help us through it, just so we can get some couples paired up. All right, let's look at a little module, a magic module, which certainly can be used to move our dancers around to help us out of this situation. So the first one we want to look at is star through, pass through, trade by, star through. When you're working with setup number 3, where all the men have their opposite, or you know, all the ladies have their opposite man. Let's reverse it. It's still the same thing. That module is absolutely gold. All right, so let's break out. I'm going to show you that live. So we're going to have a look at that star through, pass through, trade by, star through. Let's see what that does. Okay. So find Matt's mobile, and we're going to have a look at that live and see what that looks like. Oops, I might try and straighten them up a bit. Cool. So there we go. You notice number 1 man has 3 lady, their opposites, great, and 4 men has 2, etc. Like I was talking about. So the magic module we want to try out, and we want to see what's going to happen. Now, if it works, you're going to notice that we should have some people paired up at the end of it. That's the goal of this, okay? So star through. Pass through. Okay, trade by. And then star through. Hooray! Look at that. Fantastic. Everyone's partnered together. We got at least, you know, a matched couple in each group of 4, which was the goal. That was the whole goal of it. What if we called it again? Let's do the module again. What do you think is going to happen? Think about it. Star through. Pass through. Okay. Quick look. Okay. Next movement's trade by. Oops. Number 4 lady decides she wants to do something a bit different. And then one last look. And then finish off star through. And you notice they're back where they were before, and everyone's got their opposite lady. So it's a great, great little module to be able to move in between. Okay. Someone just posted and said, could you use the 4 ladies chain? Technically what we just did, our star through, pass through, trade by, star through is a 4 ladies chain. I would not, 4 ladies chain from a line is very creative, absolutely creative. Something you'll need to give a lot of helper words and a lot of work with the dancers on. And it's something I probably would workshop a bit before you do. I wouldn't just throw it in cold myself. So, you know, something like this little module where it makes a 4 ladies chain, or other little modules where the 4 ladies actually chain without calling it is probably the better option. Okay. Okay. Great. Let's go back to the presentation. So we've covered that one. So that's a great little one that can help there. The next one is an AC-DC method. Now for our, if we got any callers out there who doesn't dance plus and doesn't call plus, it doesn't know what an AC-DC is. So it's centers trade while the ends circulate. Okay, so I've written that up there on the screen for you. So that method there is where we need to get into waves and then do an AC-DC, and then we can follow it by something like a swing through, boys run, bend the line, and then see where we're at. Okay, so let's try that with the image number 3 and see what that looks like. Okay, which is the one we were just looking at. So we got our lines, we got our opposite ladies. Let's try that. Past the ocean. Let's get them into a wave. Okay, now the module was AC-DC. Okay, so we do ends circulate while the centers trade. And you'll notice straight away, we've got, in each wave, we've got a paired couple somewhere, or a couple that can pair because of that AC-DC. Okay. And then, like I said, you could follow it by a swing through, boys run, bend the line, and then do what you got to do to pair up couples. Why did that work? Is I can imagine you're going to say, well, how did that work? Circulate is a fantastic tool for changing the relationship that you've got. And it can help you move dancers about. One of the common things that I see called when callers are panicking when it comes to this, to try and do that match-up couple, they do an all 8 circulate. to keep dancers moving. And all that circulator is great, but actually it neutrals out. It doesn't do anything for you. And the reason why is because you've got 4 dancers moving across each side, okay? The only way to get your change from your corner box, you know, where you got one couple paired in each group of 4 to your, you know, all paired and all not paired, is only to get 2 dancers across that line of symmetry. And that's what an AC-doocy does very well, okay? So let's have a look at that. You'll notice these 2 dancers will cross the line of symmetry. That's that magic line. That's why it's going to change, where if we did all 4, do all 8, you're going to have 4 people cross that line. Let's give it a go. Let's put my money where my mouth is, okay? So we've just changed the type of choreography we got. Let's do another one. So it's just worth remembering that. But an all 8 circulate can also be used as a 4-lady chaining tool, because you do have 4 dancers crossing over. So you got to sit and have a play and see what works for you. You got to see what the setup is. You got the arrangement that you got, okay? But an AC-doocy is a pretty good one, because you've only got 2 people crossing over. Like I said, it gets to the more common style of choreography that we use. And because you've got 1 paired couple, like I said, you can follow that with a swing through, boys run, you know, whatever you want to do. If you want to do chain down the line so you can get number 1 couple paired, great. If you want to bend the line, star through, the world's your oyster. You got lots of options that you can tinker with. Okay. All right. So that was that one covered. The other one to have a look at, and it's not a module to replace something, but it's just an observation. If you look at picture number 4, you'll see that our star through, pass through, trade by, well, actually, if you don't know, the star through, pass through, trade by, star through module won't work on picture number 4. No one actually ends up being paired up. It's quite an interesting little one. It just ends up moving all the dancers around. Actually, we should have a look at that and see why that doesn't work before, so you can actually see it. All right, and then I can explain why there's an alternative. Like I said, either the AC-doocy, they get into a wave and do an AC-doocy, whatever. So go back to my phone, folks. We want to have a look at that. And okay, so this is setup number 4. So you notice it's still that type of choreography where in that group of 4, you'll notice no one's got their partner. In that group of 4, no one's got their partner. Let's get the ladies to chain across. Okay. In that group of 4, no one's got their partner. In that group of 4, no one's got their partner. Okay. If we try that star through, pass through method. So star through, quick look, pass through. You'll notice that these couples that we want to pair up are coming towards each other, and then they're going to the other side. And then these couples are going away from each other. Trade by, star through. So it's just moved our dancers around a bit, but we end up with still the same relationship. Okay, so no one can be paired there. No one can be paired there. But what's interesting is if I go this way, someone can be paired. So if I draw the line across here, go of symmetry, go, hey, check that out. Check that out. So what you can do from there, and this is what I wanted to have a quick look at, is before you or try an AC-DC method, one method I usually say to new callers is before you branch out to do that one, let's do this. Let's do a pass through, bend the line. And you'll notice they're paired up. They can be paired. Star through. There we go. And we didn't need to work too hard for that one. Okay. So that's certainly something to have a look at. So what I suggest is like I said, for especially newer callers, it's worth trying that out before the AC-DC one. Because like I said, after a pass through, bend the line, you might actually find that, you know, they're in front, star through, and do your favorite thing, you know, whatever you want to do from there, to get them out of that type of choreography. I'm waiting for Mel to tell me I've gone overtime. He hasn't said anything, he's quiet.
I'm compiling a list of comments and questions.
So like I said there, if module 1 doesn't work, the star through, pass through, tray by star through, give it a go. It's an alternative to the AC-DC, you know, pass through, bend a line. Hopefully they should be in front, star through, you've paired up couples, and then you're free to do what your favorite get out is from there, or to work on with the next plan, whatever it is you're trying to do in your hoedown. Okay. All right. That's it. We come right to the end to give us some time for Q&A. So,
well, I've got a number of questions here from a number of people. The first one you touched on briefly, but it was asked again. When you had your 3-in-1 line, could you just call boy looking out run? Yes, and then it was which way. You clarified that earlier with your helper words. You have to be specific. As long as you keep it simple, keep it clear. So in that case, you would call boy looking out, run around, the boy looking in, or boy looking out, run right. Give that direction for the dancer. So you've already clarified that one. I love this comment, and this is directed at both Matthew and Daryl. Now I know what you mean, Daryl, that it's all two-couple stuff. When you covered up the checkers with your hand, I could see it. And that was when you were showing lines of 4 doing a hinge. You covered up half, and then you were working 2 couples to get everybody normal. So that really showed it. Questions about getting into those weird and wonderful formations. Comment came back to me, what is the name of that formation? I call it who cares, because it's a transition formation. It was pointed out that you don't accidentally get into 3-in-1s or these funny formations. And then someone else said, yes, you can accidentally get in. I was workshopping walk and dodge, and I called centers walk and dodge.
yes.
Now I know how to get out of it instead of panicking. That was actually a great segue, and that came up in a previous session with Don Beck. I really like the emphasis that you had on keep it simple, keep it clear, and it's all two-couple work. The fact that you were using your checkers and covering half really pushed into the fact that your hinge, your fold, then it just changes all to two-couple work because of symmetry. So that was really good. Comment on your corner box setup. That was a corner grouping. Everybody's looking for the standard formation of the corner box. What he was saying was that was the corner. If you did a head square through, you've got those 4 dancers in one specific grouping. They can be set up in all sorts of different ways, but it's still those same 4 dancers looking at each other.
Exactly, yeah. We call it something different here in Queensland. We go by a different type of name. So my apologies if the terminology wasn't 100% correct on that one.
Couple of comments. Love the checkers because you have to think about what the dancers do. Taminations just shows them all moving. And a clarification, you keep saying that's a 4 ladies chain, on your AC-DC and your others. the effect is the same as a 4 ladies chain. So if you wanted to set that up in an ocean wave, ladies in the center. And, you know, calling, what he means by the ladies chain effect is if you call, notice everybody's got their partner, all 8 circulate. Everybody's got their opposite. The ladies chain effect is the same as if you did centers. If the girls are in the center, centers circulate twice, which is essentially a ladies chain. It's a ladies chain effect. That's what's meant when he says it's just like doing a ladies chain.
Absolutely. And if you notice that they go across, again, you have 4 dancers that cross over to make that effect, because with technically a ladies chain, the 4 ladies are crossing over.
Yeah, and then there was a lot of reiteration. Now I know what Daryl means by it's all 2 couple stuff when you work the square. Right. Matthew, thank you very, very much. A lot of material. Each one of those sections could have been an in-depth session all in itself. It's a lot of material covered, but as I said, it's a lot of review material of what has been covered in independent topics, and it's a segue from for setting up what what Matthew is going to be coming to talk to us. That we've had about 40 requests for that simple asymmetric resolution. What do I do when I lose a square and keep the rest of the floor? That kind of stuff. So the floor is now open for questions, comments. I saw Daryl, you had raised your hand up, and then we've got a couple more questions coming in the chat. So we'll start with Daryl. You're going to have to unmute yourself, Daryl. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was not raising my hand. I was giving a bit of applause to Matthew. Nice job. Nice job.
Thank you, Daryl.
And I will be leaving you very shortly here. It's time to take the wife to church. So nice to see everybody. Have a good week.
Okay. From Alan, Alan asked, other than star through, what are calls which normalize? Matthew covered that at the start. Ones that normalize, if you have a boy-girl combination, a gender run will normalize, generally either a boy or girl, depending if it's right hand or left hand. Or the other thing is the folds. If you have genders together, say boys on the inside, girls on the outside, boys fold, girls fold, followed by a star through or something along that line will normalize. Dan said, good point on helpful. Hinges and AC-deucey are pairing in normalizing in waves. Helpful modules and movements to pair from lines. Very nice, gotta go. Cece said, hinges can get you out of trouble, but can also get you into trouble. Absolutely correct.
Absolutely.
As Matthew was saying, when he was looking at the corner line, or sorry, the opposite line, if in trouble, do it double.
That's right.
So if you hinge and trade, do another hinge and trade.
Do another hinge and trade. Yep.
Floor is open for anybody to ask questions. Please unmute yourselves and feel free to chime in. Matthew's graciously granted us some free time to pick his brains.
Our half tags, they're pretty versatile, aren't they, in terms of what they can transform?
Yeah, certainly. Half tag can be an interesting one, because in each group of 4, you do have 2 dancers that cross over that line of symmetry. So it depends on the situation and where you're going to apply them. That's something. So sometimes it could neutral out what you're trying to achieve as well. But no, that's quite an interesting one. Actually, I'm going to have a look at that right now. I definitely got up on my phone. It's a quick little setup. So since we mentioned that half tag, we might as well have a look at it. So, you know, if it's all about pairing, You notice we got people with their partners. You do your half tag, you straight away have lost the person pairing, but they're right in front of you though. So it's quite an interesting little movement.
And once again, just to add on, if you look at that, can you just cover half of that square up again, Matthew?
Yep.
When you're looking at him, what he said, if you look at the mini waves or wave, circulates are ideal. So a circulate in a box or a split circulate in this case reestablishes that pairing.
Correct, 100%. Use your circulate family. So split circulate, they're paired up again, all side by side. And if you really want them couple, boys run, and you're back to paired up. Whatever tickles your fancy.
Guido put in a comment here. If you get the odd formations, such as the inverted lines or the boys in the center of an inverted line, that kind of stuff, tag the line and face in, or tag the line, etc., are great ones for setting up normal abilities for normalizing relationships.
Fantastic. Another little one to add to your tool set.
Although not necessarily, Mel, because if you're in an asymmetric setup and you did the tag the line, you're still going to end up in an asymmetric setup.
Not asymmetric setups, symmetric setups.
Oh, sorry.
Just in symmetric, yeah. Symmetric only in this one.
Okay.
Well, obviously, Matthew, you've either answered everybody's questions or you've confused everybody. I prefer to think that the first part, I thoroughly enjoyed the presentation. Like I said, it is open. We're using the checkers there. We can flip over to terminations if you wanted to use terminations. But Matthew is here and he's giving his time. If you got some questions for him on normalizing or any issues you may have, he's very good at what he does. So pick his brain.
Matthew,
Got a question.
I actually have a comment on that last setup that you were talking about, the last phaser where you had to pass through and bend the line, and then you could pair them up with a star through. I saw a different way to pair them up.
Okay.
Can you reset that number 4? I think it was a number 4. The centers were paired and the ends were also paired. The centers were the same color, the same couple, and the ends were the same couple in the line. Yeah.
Yep. Give me a second.
Heads on the outside, sides on the inside.
No, that wasn't it. You want to say the yellow couple's in the outside or the inside, and the white couple on the outside. That was more or less what you had.
There we go.
Okay. Pass through and have the ends fold. And then you can tinker with where the genders are.
Yep.
But that uses your tool of using a fold.
Correct. And you could do your star through, California twirl, and you notice. Yep.
So it's an entirely different way of seeing your group of 4,
yep,
which you had started to work on. So it was something that I clicked into my head.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Betsy.
You're welcome.
And
I enjoyed the presentation too.
What's really nice is movements like the star through, the fold, pass through, bend the line, or even the pass through ends fold. That fold for pairing up adds a whole world of dimension to your choreography that wasn't there before if you've never used it. It's a very, very simple move. A fold, a gender fold, and a star through, or a gender fold and a slide through. Excellent, excellent diversity into your choreography. Any other comments, questions, queries, points?
I was going to say Barry's awfully quiet and he's lost his hat.
Uh-oh.
The hat's back,
Yeah.
but he's still quiet.
Yeah. This hat doesn't fit me as well as, as other ones.
Oh, there's so many
That's-
comments we could make about that, Barry.
A bit small. Thank you. You've done such a good. You've done such a good job, Matthew.
Yes, Yolanda.
Barry hasn't got a question. That's pretty
No.
unusual.
I'm one of those ones that never would have considered using a fold before watching this. So thank you, Matt.
Pleasure. Yeah. Look, as Mel and I've said already, fold is a fantastic movement. If you're not using it, start using it. You can do a lot with it. And again, it wasn't until I was pointed out, and I've got to be honest, you know, I've been through a lot of caller training in my first 5 years of calling, and that was something presented to me by my mentor, and it's just gold. You know, the fact that fold and those other little movements can help you to normalize very quickly. It makes your life easier, doesn't it, as a caller? You know, because you don't want to look unprepared. You want to look prepared to the dancers and be in control, and that's the main thing.
And not only does it make you look prepared, but it's a call that isn't used a lot by other people. So therefore, you've added variety to your choreography.
Yes.
And,
Absolutely, Betsy.
yeah, and to add on to that, a simple ends fold. It feels different. It feels hard. It feels unique. And it is so simple, the dancers can't help but succeed at it.
Follow-up
Absolutely.
question to that. Is there you have any feedback on whether fold versus cross fold is more danceable or more intuitive, or?
Yeah, look, I would use fold just for simplicity. I understand that, you know, cross fold can also assist you in maybe, it depends on the arrangement, of course, can certainly assist you, but it adds an extra element of challenge to the dancers. So, you know, it depends on your state and where you're at the time, the type of dancers you got and what type of floor you got. Fold is certainly a much easier movement, and I would recommend doing fold first before I'd look at cross fold.
If you happen to have enough brain power, which may or may not happen, but if you have that line of 4 facing out where you have the ends fold and they're now paired up, if you happen to be able to see, if you call fold versus cross fold, if you call the cross fold and they're going to end up as a normal couple on the outside, then it will help because they'll have a good ending position to finish in, so it will add to their confidence. Did that just make sense?
Yeah, it did. I'm going to actually steal a piece out of your session about 5 weeks ago there, Betsy. Can you just leave them there, leave them there, leave them there, leave them there. Matt,
Oh, you want me to go back? Yes, boss.
put them back. Just have them all face out.
I
Okay.
gotta pin this.
Betsy was talking a while back about degree of difficulty. If you called a cross fold from here, it would be very difficult. But now just flip the side boys, half sachet the side boys there.
You want the side boys?
Yeah, just put the side couples, the side men, put the side men on the outside. Slide the head lady inside. Number 2 and number 4
Okay.
boys on the outside.
You want number 2 and 4 boys on the outside? Okay.
Yep.
That way?
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha.
Now, when Betsy was talking about degree of difficulty, that first one where you had a boy and a girl going to the same gender, quite difficult. On this one, if you called a boys cross fold, it's a little more easy and it's a little more intuitive. Just cross fold your helper word, second girl or the far girl. You end up with a boy looking at a girl. It's a little bit easier. That's where you would want to start. And in this case, if you had that boy, girl, boy line or girl, boy, girl line, and you pass through ends fold to the far boy or look him in the eye or something like that, suddenly then you can do a star through and you're normalized again. You really have to look at that degree of difficulty.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I do see Betsy's point though. You know, if you had it that way, you know, it
That's
can
a
be
normal
challenging.
couple on the end now.
Correct. Yeah. You know,
And the
so
centers do a U-turn back.
Yep.
You know, that degree of difficulty with those cross folds, yeah, you got to look at the dancers. Absolutely. You know, that one, like Betsy said, I agree that would probably work. And you can say those on the outside are just a normal, and that, you know, can help, or other slight different wording, you know, to indicate, you know, you're going to be boy, girl at the end of it. That can certainly help help with that as well. Yeah. But I like fold because you don't need to, like I said, you don't need to provide that extra level of challenge. But then again, that extra level of challenge can be good as well.
Murray, yes, Matthew's got a PowerPoint presentation. He's just got one correction to make on it, and then he's going to send it to me. I'll be posting that up. Mark, I believe, is going to be posting the video. One of the things that came up in the technical side of it is I don't know about screen sharing your mobile, Matthew. So we've got you on screen share, but I don't know how it recorded with screen sharing the actual phone. So we'll have to try and figure out how to go that and see if we do this again, if we can actually screen share your phone as well.
Yeah, that was actually, we'll see how it goes. I actually made a mistake. Hang on. I got a little stand here, and I did this last time when I presented for our Australian callers. I got a little stand, and I got my phone joined into the Zoom session. It's pointing down. But it was extremely creative last minute because I left my document camera at work, which I would have connected up to my laptop, in which I would have used its camera and be a lot less stressful, shall I say.
And there's
but I personally prefer, I've seen a lot of comments about the live checkers, and I personally prefer them because I think you could do a lot more without terminations. Is great, but I think the live pushing of your checkers on the table is a great thing. So I hope you folks didn't mind that.
No, I think it was great. What I'm worried about in the video, though, is I'm not sure if it's going to record your phone moving the checkers. It might just have been recording you talking and not actually in the video show the checkers.
Well,
So it sounds like I've got a lot more work to do.
Yeah, I pinned the checkers. I pinned that, and when he started talking, the checkers came up, and then I never did see Matthew's picture, so you might want to try that.
We'll see how it goes. If there's an issue, I'm sure I've got some work to fix it. we can make it happen.
But the onus of responsibility eventually comes down to, you've seen how it works.